In the late 90s, which's music was everywhere, from Smart House to Dawson's Creek. The Irish girl group revisited C'est la vie, its legacy. More than ever, which are ready to huff and puff and blow fans away. Because nearly 3 decades after what Keavy Lynch refers to as their gobsmacking rise to the top of the music charts with their debut song, C'est la vie, the Irish girl group has been on a long journey, through fame, a decade-long break from the spotlight and finally, a return with new music. Still, looking back at their 1998 beginnings remains a surreal experience. We were in Italy thinking, hopefully we'll have a top 20, and we kind of felt like that right up until the midweek. Keavy, 45, recalled in an exclusive interview with E! News alongside twin sister Idili Lynch, Sinead O'Carroll, and Lindsay Armour. And our producer said, like, you're number one. And we were like, ha, that's hilarious. Where are we really? He was like, no, you're number one. Less than a year later, and they were touring with the then just breaking out NSYNC. They weren't big in the UK at the time, so our manager was like, you're going on tour with a really big American boy band. And we were like, it's the Backstreet Boys. Idili, 45, explained, before sharing their initial reaction to learning the group they were supporting was actually NSYNC. We had to look them up, which is kind of ridiculous, because they were insanely huge in the USA, and they're amazing. During that time, Justin Timberlake, J.C. Chases, Lance Bass, Joey Fatone and Chris Kirkpatrick helped the Irish girl group celebrate some big wins, like when their single, Blame It on the Weatherman, topped the UK charts in 1999. which set a then record when all 4 singles off their 1998 self-titled debut reached that benchmark. I think they got us a cake. Sinead, 52, noted, with Lindsay, 46, remembering that the band decorated our whole dressing room and got us cake, balloons. And their music was seemingly everywhere, appearing in the Disney Channel original movie Smart House, which they still get messages about, What Women Want, Dawson's Creek and The Princess Diaries to name a few. But by 2002, 3 years after their second album Awake and Breathe released, the group took a break from the music and parted ways. At first it was crazy, because there were so many years our schedule was laid out for us. Idili explained. We knew what time we were getting up, we knew what time we needed to eat, we knew what time we had to go to bed to get up early the next day. So I think for me, the weirdest thing was just making those choices for myself. But beyond navigating the mundanity of those first solo trips to the supermarkets, the bandmates also looked ahead at their next chapter. I went back to college, studied some fitness, Idili recounted. Got married, had 3 children. So, it was a different life in that time. It was a nice life too. It proved to be a necessary break too, ultimately giving them the space they needed apart to be able to come back together a decade later. We were so young when we got into the band, so we were kind of catapulted into that bubble, Lindsay said. And I think when we came out of it, it was a time of discovery for each of us. We all went on our different little journeys, and then miraculously 10 years later, our paths joined again, and we had this opportunity to reunite, and we took it. And the rest is history, we're still here. Although, getting back together wasn't an immediate yes when the which members were first approached to appear on the 2013 ITV docuseries The Big Reunion alongside fellow late 90s boy bands and girl groups like Atomic Kitten, Blue and Five. I think for 8 months, I was like, nope. I was in college at the time, studying counseling, Keavy noted. And so when they came knocking, I was like, no, I've integrated myself back into life. And I've made a new decision, and I don't want that disrupted in any way. Plus, now they had families of their own to contend with. I had the kids, and I didn't know if I wanted to bring that kind of attention to the children's doorstep. Idili told E! I was like, I'm really not sure about it at all. Just being out of the limelight for so long, and you always want to protect the little ones. But while Lindsay, Keavy and Idili had embarked on second careers, for Sinead a reunion was more of an inevitability than just a hope. I always had a feeling that we would come back together, she admitted, adding they had unfinished business. So I was just like, no, this is the perfect opportunity, Sinead explained, to do that. Beyond the show, following them and their contemporaries rehearsing and performing for the first time in a decade, it ultimately jump-started B***'s second chapter, while allowing them to appreciate what they were able to achieve the first time around. I'm still quite happy to sing C'est la vie, Kiwi revealed. Because it's an electric moment, it really is. There are so many ups in that song, from the guitar riff right at the start, and then the music in the middle, and the chorus. Like, it just keeps extending, and the energy and the hysteria reaction just keeps growing. To which Lindsay chimed in. It's amazing how it stood the test of time. Like, it was a pop song in the 90s and now, all this time later, it's still played, it's still appreciated, it's still enjoyed. That's something that we could never have known back then. Although in many ways their biggest track is, as Sinead put it, the song that keeps on giving, there was a time where Idili was ready to put it behind her. I fell out with it for a bit, she admitted. I was like, I'm really sick of singing this. And then I did a stage theater show. And the cast did it, but I didn't, which was really an unusual choice. But I got to kind of sit at that point and see it from the audience perspective. Then I understood it from a different viewpoint, so I've come back on board. These days, they're revisiting their hits, playing festivals across the UK and Ireland, with a hope to return to the States soon, as well as new music off their 2024 EP Ripped Jeans, which marked their first new music in a decade. It was really to give back to the people who followed us for so long and just want a bit of something, Kiwi shared. But it also allows us to freshen up our set and feel a bit more excited about what we're doing as well, so we can continue giving as best as we can, so it doesn't get jaded for us. And while they're still releasing catchy tracks like new single, Multiply, and So Into You, these days they're doing it with a different perspective. I remember the old days really fondly, and we had an incredible time, Sinead explained. But there was a huge amount of pressure that came with that. Now there is no pressure. We don't put any on ourselves. If anyone else tried to, we don't even hear it anymore. We're having fun, the audiences are having fun, and that's really all it's about. B***, which isn't the only group to capture fans' hearts over the years. Keep reading for a look back at more iconic girl boy bands and girl groups.